Hey folks, this is Ardwulf. Welcome. We're going to do another unboxing video here, and we're going to unbox Here I Stand, Wars of the Reformation 1517 to 1555. This is an Ed Beach game. Of course, it's from GMT, and it's in one of their big fat boxes. And I think this is a 2010 game, which actually didn't make any sense. Or maybe I'm misremembering then. I was remembering it as having been older, so we have a better unboxing tool this time than we did last time as well, although it's dull. Very dull, actually. I gotta fix that. So if we look at, it's a card-driven game. It says on the back that its lineage includes SPIs and Mighty Fortress and the Napoleonic Wars from GMT, which I do own and which I've played and which I like. But I think there's some fairly significant differences here. It is a card-driven game. It's in a big box. It's heavy. Let's see what's in it. Now this is the second printing, which we can see right here. So it does include a few extra things, including an airtight seal, apparently. Okay, so what we have here, errata counters. Oh, that's nice of GMT to include that. And these are on some pretty thick stock, too. So let's put that out of the way. The errata counters here. Here's a rulebook. Looks like it is black and white. It is 44 pages, which is fairly thick. The overall weight of this game, I haven't the vaguest idea. I am imagining that it is comparable to the Napoleonic Wars. We have six factions in this game: the Protestants, the French, the English, the Habsburgs, the Papacy, and the Ottomans, and then there's some independents here. Here is a scenario book. It looks like there are 3 scenarios: a 1517 scenario, a 1532 scenario, and a tournament scenario. And we have the 2-player rules in here, which is a 2-player variant that was included with the second printing. So this is a 40-page scenario book. I feel like the paper's a little thicker than I'm used to seeing from GMT. We have our faction cards. These sure look similar to what we saw with the Napoleonic Wars, where you have the faction leader, the Protestants, get Martin Luther. The Papacy gets Leo X. The Ottomans get Suleiman. I don't know if it's Suleiman the Magnificent. The Habsburgs get Charles V. France gets Francis I, who I'm not sure I've ever heard anything about, to be honest. And the English get the very memorable Henry VIII. Oh, and he's even got a marital status track, where everybody else has different stuff on their cards. St. Peter's Construction, New Testament CP spent. That sounds interesting. The game touts itself as a political and economic simulation too. So we have a religious struggle card. We have a Protestant spaces track, which translates into papal VPs or Protestant VPs, it looks like. So it looks like somebody automatically wins at 50. Here is looks like a player aid card with a sequence of play. Okay, so the front here has the main sequence of play, and then on the back you have the sequence of play for the 2-player variant. And here's another identical card. Here is a general reference card with descriptions of the way the combat works. And at a glance, it looks like similar to the system in the Napoleonic Wars, where you roll a number of dice equal to your number of force points, and 5s and 6s are damaging to the opponent in some way. Here is an action summary, which is interesting. We have some counters, and we have, first of all, looks like some baggies. Oh, big baggies too, actually. They really include 5 when they're... No, okay, good. So there are 7 of these baggies. I think my impression is that this will be a baggy game for me. I don't normally like to store games in baggies, but this may be one of the exceptions. Quite thick counters. Here we have some French, some British, We have some other characters available to these two factions other than just Francis I and Henry VIII as well. These may be army leaders, as they are in the Napoleonic Wars. These pink guys are the Genoese, and the sort of orange are the Venetians. Let's see, these are probably country or area control markers. Here we have another counter sheet. Again, these are thicker than they are for the Napoleonic Wars too. We get some naval stuff. We get some Protestants, Habsburgs. These are presumably also Habsburgs. Some characters up here. We may do a video on this. It is a game that does not have super high solo ability according to the back of the box, but I may try it anyway, to be honest about it. These purple guys are the papacy, yeah, with the keys. That makes sense. And there's no papal fleet. These guys are probably the Oops. Now the die cutting is crisp. Here we have a set of general game markers, including some more leaders. These are probably status markers that stay out. And then we got some half-inch. These look like 5/8 inch markers. These are half-inch over here. So that's a total of 4 counter sheets, quite a bit of counters. I have a rather massive mounted map board, which I will try to undo in a minute. So we got some dice. Here's looks like 10 dice. Probably not enough, but we'll see. We got some stand-ups for the leaders. Now here's the diplomacy deck. This is used in the 2-player variant. I think it's like 30 cards or something like that. And then here's the main deck, of which there ought to be 110 cards here, I think is what the back of the box says. Papal Inquisition, Janissaries for the Ottomans. This is the Ottoman home card. So there are home cards here too, like there are in the Napoleonic Wars, except they're not on the player mats. Anything under here? Nope. I kind of like these box fillers. I wish they were a little easier to convert into actual, like, bottom of the tray things without monkeying with them, but they're not. Not that I haven't done it before. So let's take a quick look at the map. It's a standard size map, I believe, but it is mounted. So that's something that we don't get to see as often as I would like. I have no particular issue with non-mounted maps, but you know, hey, mounted is always nicer. Really nice. It's got like a linen-esque feel to it. It's really nice. It doesn't quite lay flat, but I'm sure a little bit of work will prevent that from being a problem. Henry's wife's pregnancy chart. Awesome. And then here's a diplomatic status display. I'm not sure if you can see any of that. Here's Henry's wife's pregnancy chart, because that's important. And we've got a victory track and a turn track that tells you when various leaders come into play. A New World Riches table. So I'm not sure how much of this you can see on the video, but it's a nice looking map. It's a very nice looking map. Very impressive. Can't wait to play this, actually. I may get to play the 2-player variant before the 6-player variant, but we'll see. Oh, and we have a New World display here too, that you can move stuff around in the New World in South America against the Aztecs, the Mayas, and the Incas. Even though the Mayas aren't really around anymore at this time, except as just like tribes. And then in North America as well. Circumnavigation gives you 3 victory points. Interesting. So some Age of Exploration stuff works into this as well. On the map, you can see we have the Protestants up here. Obviously the French. The papacy probably only directly controls these 3 purple things. Here we have the Ottomans, who probably don't much care about the divide between Catholics and Protestants. And here we have Habsburg Spain, and we have Habsburg Netherlands. Besançon, I think. I don't know. My French was never very good, even when I took French, and that was like 25 years ago. So, and we have, of course, Habsburg Austria as well, or part of it anyway. Salzburg is in Austria. So here I stand. Let's put this all away. A very interesting looking game. I've actually had my eye on it for a long time, and when I ran across it at the friendly local game store today, I snapped it up. It is, in theory, out of print at the moment, but they still had it, so I was happy to grab it. So everything seems to fit in the box reasonably well. Nice thick counter, so I'm impressed with the production quality in general is quite high here. Looks like this is going to take more space to set up than I have on this table, however, I'll tell you that. Because you're going to need to set these cards up. There's a couple of player aid cards that'll need to be set up. We'll see what those turn into later, and the rule books. And this stuff like fits exactly in the box too. Big box or no, it barely fits. So here I stand, Wars of the Reformation, 1517 to 1555 by Ed Beach and GMT. Good looking game. I can't wait to get into this. So hopefully I will get the chance to do some additional video on this later. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. We got some more of this type of stuff coming, some unboxing stuff, that is, some more wargaming stuff, and of course more of what is in the channel already, of which there's a substantial quantity. So check all that stuff out. You can follow me on social media. The link's below in the notes. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.